Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Return of the Jedi. Yes, leading up to Star Wars Rogue One, which is coming out in less than a week now, I have been reviewing every single Star Wars movie, including the Star Wars Holiday Special, and we are continuing on with that with Return of the Jedi. Now, this was the conclusion of the, epic original trilogy. It was the concluding chapter, and many people do contend that this isn't the best of the original trilogy, and rather it's on the opposite side. That it's a very, very good movie, but is filled with flaws. So I went into Return of the Jedi not sure what I was gonna think, because the last time I had seen it, I loved it. I loved it a lot. Not as much as the other two, but still a lot. But that was before I started really, really getting into cinema and learning about foreign and really starting to become more of a movie critic. So going into this, I wondered if it would go down. And I do have to say, Return of the Jedi did go down quite a bit, but not too much, because I still do contend that this is a great movie. Now, let's just get these things out of the way. I gotta say them because I have to say them every review because they're worth repeating. I know it's redundant at this point, but I just have to say, the score and Darth Vader are both amazing. John Williams is honestly the greatest score maker of all time, and Darth Vader is honestly one of the most menacing villains of all time. I just have to mention that. So now that I've done with that, I will continue on. So I do have to say, they do open this movie with C-3PO going up to a giant palace where he is talking to an alien creature, and for the first time we get to see C-3PO talk to another in another language, which honestly, I just think that's really, really cool. Most people don't mention that, and it's probably a really, really small thing, and I know that it is, but it's so cool just to finally see him talk a different language, and he does that throughout the entire movie, and I really just like the little adjustment of that. However, as we go on with this scene, something started to appear to me, that we are going to have a lot of expositional dialogue. That's something that it's kind of annoying with the movie, because C-3PO will look over to Han Solo and say, "Oh look, there's Han Solo, still frozen in carbonite." There was no reason to say that. I'm pretty sure everyone in the audience knew. And then there's also the scene where Lando Calrissian is looking at Chewie and he reveals his mask a little bit. He takes it off. And that's only so that the people watching can see that it's Lando Calrissian. It's little things like that that are very expositional that are quite annoying. But moving on, I do have to say Jabba the Hutt is a great character because he's not CGI. They don't try to make him this giant CGI character. It's a practical effect, and it still looks really good today. And it's also very, very cool, one, to finally see Jabba the Hutt on screen, because you never saw him in A New Hope, Star Wars, that just doesn't exist. And it's so cool to finally see a gangster in the Star Wars universe, because we had only really seen a lot of the lighter parts of it. We hadn't gone into the dark underbone of the Star Wars trilogy, which is exactly what we get in this. And also, something that I also noticed in the first 30 minutes within the movie is that the action in this one was actually amazing. It may even be better than the other two. The action sequences, they're very, very well shot. They're very well timed out. There's some near perfect editing in between character fighting over to here with character saving someone, over to here to character fighting. It's very, very well done. The lightsaber duels in this film are very, very good. The battle on Endor, I have more on that later, but that was a very, very good battle, and there are lots of great battles throughout this movie. The action is fantastic. So as we go along with this, we eventually meet up with the Ewoks. And the Ewoks, I gotta say, are great characters. I don't care if you're annoyed that George Lucas made them just to have them be toys. Okay, you can be mad about that. However, you can't deny that these aren't necessarily cute creatures. They kill people and burn them alive and eat them. That's what they do. They are not cute creatures. They're vicious murderers. That's exactly what they are. But okay, everyone defines them as that, but I gotta say, these characters are great. They've got a great design. Again, with the practical effects, they still look very, very good today, and there are some very touching moments with them. There's a certain moment where an Ewok is shot by one of the AT-ATs, or no, not the AT-ATs, but the smaller version, the AT-ST, I believe. And when he's shot, the Ewok just sort of gets up. He's like, okay, it's all good, and then realizes that his friend is dead. There are some great moments like that with the Ewoks throughout this film. There's also when Luke and Darth Vader finally confront each other. It's great. It is so, so nice to see them finally confront each other, father and son, both talking to each other, both having these very in-depth conversations about the dark side and how alluring it is and how you can very much get trapped in it and you're not let free. It's a very, very, very well done subplot. Going on, also, the Emperor, I just have to mention, he is such a great character. It's the first time that we get to see him in the flesh. We saw him in a holographic video in the second one, in The Empire Strikes Back. But actually seeing him, the actor that plays him, I'm forgetting his name now, but he did such a great job. He hunched over, he talked in such a raspy, mean voice. It's not just the look of the makeup, it's everything that attributed to him that looks amazing. And I'm going to start getting into spoiler territory here, so if you have not seen it, but I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it, but if you have not, just pause the video, go watch it, and then come back here to finish the review. So, going on, we eventually get the lightsaber battle in between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and this is one of the most emotionally charged action sequences we've seen on film. This is so intense. It's a fantastic climax to the entire thing that this whole franchise is built up to. And when Darth Vader yells no, I just want to punch the screen every time, because that's not what he was about. He wasn't yelling no. He was realizing what he had to come to grips with by taking the Emperor and throwing him over. But this is such an emotionally charged scene, so fantastically done with John Williams' score. I absolutely love that battle sequence, and it's so incredibly emotional, but it works so well on screen. And the powerful theme that Luke is like Gandhi. He has parallels to him, and that's because he does not want to enact violence on his father. He realizes that that's what's going to lead him to the dark side. He realizes that that's how he's going to end. So originally, they did have it scheduled that the Return of the Jedi would end with Han Solo dying from a battle wound, Princess Leia returning to Tatooine, unsure how to rule again, and just sort of being unhappy in the giant sand of desert, and Luke Skywalker turning to the dark side. Now, I would love to see an edit of the film that has that, rather than what we get, but just the stuff that we got, at the very least, was very, very powerful. And just the final scene of Darth Vader when he's finally talking to Luke and he's saying that he just wants to see his son because that's all he wants. It's a very, very emotionally powerful scene. That's a great climax to this entire franchise. And I gotta say another thing, I love Han's reaction when Leia finally tells him that Luke is his brother. He has a face that's shocked. It's got happiness in it, but I swear he must be thinking about the time where Leia kissed Luke and how awkward that must have been. I just love that face reaction. I know it's a little thing, but it really improves it by that much more. But there are quite a few issues with Return of the Jedi 2. The acting definitely went down quite a bit from The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if the actors got more lazy or something, but that was definitely a huge issue. There are a lot of issues with the script. It's constant, just random cuts to things that don't necessarily fit there. There's random expositional dialogue or situations that don't fit. Also, the Ewoks fighting the stormtroopers is insanely dumb because these are fully armored guys that are killed by rocks. It doesn't make sense. It just simply doesn't. But getting past that, those are technically nitpicks, and I do have to bring this up. It doesn't have to do with the movie, but in the special edition, freaking George Lucas added a dance scene that is so cringeworthy and awful. Oh my god, I don't even know why that was included. It goes on for a full 2 minutes. I just skip over that because it is terrible. But to conclude, Return of the Jedi is still a great movie. Yes, it has its flaws, but if you can look past that and really appreciate the last 30 minutes, you will love it. And that is why I give this film an 8 out of 10. Alright, we are edging closer and closer to Rogue One. If you have not seen my Star Wars reviews before, link in the description to a playlist of all of them. And I will be reviewing Star Wars The Force Awakens on Tuesday and Star Wars Rogue One on Thursday night. Well, that concludes my review for Return of the Jedi. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.